Changers International, changing lives for the better. Our vision is to be a transformative platform that exposes lies and reveals the truth. Mind Changers International, we on a mission, masking the falsehoods with every new edition. We're here to enlighten your mind with this vibration, expose the lies, speak the truth, normal conversations. Mind Changers International, we on a mission.
Welcome to Mind Changers Podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Blakney. Listen, and I got my co-host, Shann Atkinson. Listen, we had some technical difficulties, so we're running behind today, but we got a really exciting episode to talk about tonight.
That's right, man. Yeah, we're going to talk about, is the earth flat or is the earth round?
Yeah.
We both have a different view about this whole thing.
Yes, sir. And listen, we want you guys to, put your comments in. We want you guys to get it in. Listen, we're going to be respectful. No matter what you believe, it's a conversation. And we're not here to argue. We're not here to argue. We're just here to let's just discuss preferences. And,
That's right.
What you prefer to believe and what you prefer not to believe.
Yeah, definitely. This has been a fight since the beginning of time. The first fight was who's God and who's Jesus. The second fight is what's the shape of the earth. So, this has been a very hot topic for a long time.
Yes, it has. And I'm trying to find something, Sean. Mm-hmm. I got it. So listen, we're gonna have a good time, y'all. Listen, absolutely. If you're a round earther or a flat earther, because y'all try to get away with just calling us flat earth. Listen, I am straight up flat earth. I'm telling you, because I know it ain't round, Sean. I know it ain't round. Like Kevin Hart said, first of all, let me tell you something. It's not round. Let me stop.
Right. Yeah, we thought we'd take a little break this week and just have a fun topic and just talk about something completely off the wall. So, and you're probably gonna see that we're both just as crazy. We're both crazy.
Yeah, we crazy. We done lost it tonight, y'all. We've lost it tonight. Put my notes up here. We've lost it. We done lost our minds, our consciousness, everything. Man. But yeah, we're gonna have a great conversation about flat Earth, whether it's round, whether it's flat. We got some good perspectives here. Before I go, before we get into our topic, I want to make an announcement. Okay, this is a PSA. Listen, I want you guys to join us for Light in the City, Saturday, March the 29th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And listen, it is going to be impactful. It's going to be, hold on, let me pull up my notes here. It's going to be in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. This inspiring community service event hosted by Truth Tabernacle Ministries, it aims to uplift our city through love and outreach. Listen, you can volunteer alongside fellow community members as well, and you can serve because they need more help. Listen, you can pull up this event on Eventbrite. It is the light in the city. Be the light in the city. And listen, no request is too small. Just come on out. Listen, we want you to be a part of this movement. So don't miss an opportunity to make a difference and experience the power of prayer. Listen, here's a number that you can call. 1-800-357-9588. And this is on 88. Let me say it again. 800-357-9588 on March the 29th for personal prayer support. Listen. That's the number to call for personal prayer support. We want you to draw near to God. And listen, how do you do that? You have to be around godly people. So listen, join us on the 29th, the 5th Saturday of the month, the Light in the City, hosted by Truth Tabernacle Ministries. All right, let's get to this, Sean. Listen, man, I'm excited about this podcast right here.
Okay.
I'm really excited because me and you've had this debate for a while. We have been, going back and forth, but we never lost friendship. Because, I ain't gonna get mad at you because you think you're on the side of a ball. I don't care. I don't care. If you believe you're on the side of a ball and you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, going up hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, I don't care as long as my friend is still alive and he's still up here with me. But listen, we're gonna get some work out of the way. I know I'm talking a lot, Sean, but I got to get through this. Listen, here's our disclaimer. Listen, the views expressed in the Mind Changers podcast are intended for informational purposes only and do not reflect the opinions of any organization. We aim to foster, thoughtful dialogue and do not promote discrimination or misinformation. Listeners' discretion is advised. And you've now been warned. Listen, restaurant is about to open up. Bustin' the Gut Merlin style seafood restaurant located 135 Southeast Main Street here in the big city of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Listen, check the Facebook page. We are opening soon. Saturday, we're going to sell some food. Tuesday, we're going to sell some food. Listen, come out and get your gut busted. I get it busted out the seams. I know I'm crazy, Sean. I know you probably saying, right. Man, this is my best friend, but that joke was crazy. That joke was crazy. It's a jalapeno pepper. But that's okay.
Yeah, man.
Jalapeno pepper makes a difference you put it in your mouth.
Yes, it does.
Yes, sir. So, Sean, let's talk about it, man. Okay. Let's talk about the flat Earth. Okay. Or the round Earth. Tell me.
The round Earth.
Yeah. Tell me what you believe.
Okay. I believe that we are on a spinning ball. I believe that our Earth is round. I believe that that we're spinning at however many umpteen thousands of miles an hour. Yeah, just like that. Just like this, right? Just like you show right there. I do believe that.
Okay.
And I think there's some pretty good proof to substantiate the fact that we're on a globe. That we're on a globe.
I got you. And that's based off of who give me the information, right?
Okay.
Correct? Because I'm gonna tell y'all. Listen.
Go ahead. Not entirely. It's kind of I will say it's two parts. It's the information I'm giving and what I see and have experienced that makes me think that information is true.
Okay, I'm curious. What did you experience with the Atkinson?
Well, just where can I start?
Yeah, okay. Come on.
All right. I guess we'll start at the satellite situation where you and I we've discussed about satellites. Where we discussed about satellites.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now, I know, and I know that you know as well, that there is something above us that is absolutely transmitting some kind of signal, something that always stays above us in some kind of orbit, that always broadcasts a signal, whether it's a GPS signal or a phone signal or a direct TV signal or something like that. So it is above us. And what little bit of evidence that I have is that, as you know, at one point in time, I was a direct TV satellite installation. I used to install direct TV satellites. And no matter what time of day, what time of year, I had the hardware to find the satellite so I could get the dish onto the satellite. It was always there. No matter when I point, and I didn't have to point it all over the sky looking for it or anything. I pointed it in the specific location, and I wish I could remember those coordinates. I'm sorry, everybody. There was a specific coordinate that you had to point your satellite dish to in order to pick up that signal, and it was always there. I did this job for a better part of 10 years, and I never didn't find it. So that's enough evidence for me to know that there's definitely something up there stable that is always there when I go looking for it. And I know because these satellites stay up, and I did the research. These satellites stay up for roughly anywhere between 5 to 15 years, depending on their kind of fuel that they have or what kind of satellites they are, because they do fall. Eventually, they do fall into the Earth's atmosphere, and they burn up. Eventually, they don't fall and hurt nobody, so nobody has to worry about that.
But Sean, they didn't burn up getting up there, but they burn up coming back down.
Well, they did not burn up getting up there because of the way they were protected to send them up. You know, the rockets that sent them up encased them, and then when they got up there, they released them. They opened the hatch and released them. So just that little, and there's more. There's definitely more, and we'll go into more of it because I want you to be able to get your thought in as well. But there are satellites up there, GPS satellites. You know they work. You use them all the time. You and I discussed that it's nothing more than cell phone towers, and they are. Cell phone towers can utilize GPS technology, but I have literally myself been on top of a mountain and received GPS signal, and there wasn't a satellite, there wasn't a cell phone tower for miles and miles away. And also, too, one last thing, and I'll finish this up. Elon Musk, his internet satellite, I have seen that satellite work on top of that same mountain. So broadband internet, fast and everything. There was no towers to be able to give me that kind of internet. So I do know and do believe that there's something up there that is in orbit that is broadcasting this information. All right, go.
So how many satellites do they say is in the sky?
It's umpteen
Hundreds
thousands.
of thousands, right?
It's thousands. Yeah, thousands.
So that means that I should go outside when the moon is up, right? And pull up my telescope and see satellites go across the moon. Because
I guess theoretically you should. Yeah, theoretically you should you should be able to catch something.
Yeah, but you never catch anything because there ain't nothing up there. You never catch anything. You never catch anything.
Well, they're so tiny though. Well, in the perspective of how far they are, and actually the size of they are. I think the average satellite is the size of a pickup truck, or maybe the size of a box truck. They're about the size of a box truck. We don't have any kind of technology that you and I can buy, that you and I can go out and buy that can actually see something that small in the time of frame that you got to catch it. The time of frame you got to catch it.
Icon camera can zoom in on a crater on the moon, like a small crater.
Okay.
And you don't see zero satellites. So here's my thing: if satellites are real, why when a new subdivision pop up, you can't pick it up on your GPS? That's just me. If there's a satellite up there, no matter what road you create, it should automatically be able to find it. But you can't.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how GPS works, though. See, GPS only works off of longitude and latitude. That's all it works off of. It's just the map coordinates that we've been using since Christopher Columbus, longitude and latitude. Now, the convenience of GPS of showing you roads and showing you subdivisions has to come next, and that has to come through Google or Apple Maps or MapQuest, to where they have to go out and collect that data so that when you
upload it.
No, they're not uploading it. Here's the thing: they're not uploading it. All a GPS does, is give out your location in longitude and latitude. The information is very minimal. It's not like tons and tons of broadband data. It's very minimal. It's just longitude and latitude. And then that's where either your cell phone and the cell phone towers, or the downloaded maps on your GPS takes all that math and deciphers it, decrypts it, and adds the pictures and adds that stuff afterwards when you're looking. That is just convenience. Early GPS with the military didn't do any of that stuff. It was just longitude and latitude when they had it, before they gave it to us. We later added the convenience of subdivisions and roads and other landmarks up there to make it easier for us to use, because the normal layman doesn't even understand longitude and latitude. So there's two things going on. The satellite is giving off the coordinates, and then your downloaded maps or your broadband connection to your cell phone is adding that extra layer of information. Okay. All right. That's how GPS works.
Okay. All right. That's cool. So basically, y'all listen. I'm going to talk about this, right?
Okay.
So, Sean, you believe that you're on a plane in the North Pole, right?
Okay.
And the plane flies.
Okay.
Everybody upside down, but we can't tell we upside down, right?
Okay.
And then we land on the South Pole, and we get out and we walk, and we don't know we upside down. So that's what you believe, right?
I do believe that.
Okay.
I do
believe that you're standing like this on the side of the earth, right?
Something like, I would say yes.
And that all this water can behave
Okay.
by what we call gravity, right?
Okay. All right.
Millions and tons of water. If gravity was that strong, Sean,
right,
it would crush us. If it can hold water in place, but I just did this as an example. This is not part of what we're going to be talking about. But I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying out there for y'all. Listen, just really think about that, because I've been on a plane, right, Sean?
Okay.
So I've left New York and flew to California, right?
Okay.
But the Earth's supposed to be spinning towards me at 1,000 miles an hour. I'm in a plane going 600 miles an hour. But yet, it takes me 5.5 hours coming from New York, 5.5 hours coming from California. Shouldn't I get there quicker? And then here's the problem. I got to land on something that's traveling faster than me coming the opposite direction. I have to land on this.
Okay.
Or the opposite way. I'm coming from California, going to New York. So we got to stay in the air to New York, come back around.
Okay.
Or the plane travels faster than 1,000 miles an hour. So these are things that don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. These are things that do not make any sense at all. None.
All right.
So hold on, I'm sorry. Something's popping up here. Doesn't make any sense at all. So let's you got some videos, right? But before we go to the videos, let's talk about the book of Genesis. Okay. He says, in the beginning, he separated the waters above and below the firmament, right?
Yes.
So what is a firmament? Do you know what a firmament is?
Well, the translation of a firmament is a barrier. It's some sort of barrier.
Okay. So why would God, an infinite being, more powerful, all-knowing God, say something that doesn't make sense?
Okay, well, let's unpack that, because I want to make sure that everybody understands what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
You're saying the Earth is flat, and there's a dome on top of it. Is that what you're?
It's called the firmament, right? He said he bowed the heavens, right? Okay. So he said he separated the waters below and above the firmament. Now, a lot of us have been to a baseball field at nighttime, right? And at nighttime, it's black behind the lights. According to the solar system, the sun is 100 times larger than the Earth.
Right.
So it's sitting in the middle of the universe.
Okay.
And everything around it should be black. Behind it, side it, everything. But it is but when the sun comes around, outer space disappears. He said, I separated the waters below and above the firmament. Here's my perspective. The reason why outer space disappeared is because the dome. Because he said it in the book of Genesis, I separated the waters below and above the firmament.
Right.
Right? That's what he said. Right. And then let's go to the book of Joshua when they had the battle of Jericho, right?
Okay.
Now, according to the solar system, y'all, it says that the earth moves around the sun. But according to the battle, the Bible says the sun stood still. So why would an infinite being that's more powerful, all-knowing, not know, according to the solar system, that the only thing that moves around the solar system, the sun, is the earth? But he said that the earth, the sun stood still. Okay. So for me, that's called the clue. Why is the sun standing still if it don't move?
Right. Okay.
So now we got the firmament. Now we got the sun. Something's not adding up here, because outer space should still be seen when the sun comes around, or when the earth turns around to the sun. It still should be seen, but it's not, because the sun is local. It's the same size as the moon. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's the same size as the moon, and it works just like a clock. But we got some video, so we're going to go to the video. These are the things that don't make sense at all when God says he separated the waters above and below the firmament. And you look up the firmament, it's Greek for glass, dome, or structure. Right? Okay. Right. All right, so let's look at Sean's video. Now, Sean is long, so we're going to have to skip through this, but I'm going to skip through this in a fair manner that I'm not degrading your proof to what I'm saying. Okay. Okay, so let's go to Sean's video.
So tell me, Neil, is the Earth flat?
You know I don't like this guy, right?
We have video from space of the rotating spherical Earth. The Earth is round.
Thank you for joining us on this episode.
And Jesus just spoke. Jesus just spoke. He said the Earth is round. Everybody's like, no, round.
Who think Earth is flat.
Right.
But recognize that the moon is round. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the sun are all spheres. But Earth is flat. That's not, something doesn't square.
Something doesn't jive, right?
Okay. Almost everything in the universe is either spheres or slight distortions of a sphere for some other thing that's happening to it. I mean, we can just see how the The universe favors spheres. If you're going to say something and you think what you're saying is true, then no matter how obvious you think it is that it's true, you should still test it.
Gotcha.
There could be something fooling you in one way or another. So if you want to say Earth is flat, for example, lunar eclipses. What's a lunar eclipse? If your face is the brilliant sun.
Thank you.
And this is Earth, and the moon is over here, the sun is always casting Earth's shadow into space.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right there.
Yeah.
In his diagram, he got the sun the same size as the Earth. Just think about that for 1 minute, right? When it's supposed to be.
No, that's for that's just for scale.
I got you. I got you.
The scale's
but
off, absolutely.
If scale is off, then that means what he's saying is off because he's using that scale to prove his theory. Hold on. He's using that scale to prove his theory because it's a measurement now. He's saying, he's talking about measurements. He's talking about the diameter of the sun and why it's casting a circle. So for me, even though he's saying it, his model is off.
Okay.
Well, we agree. As far as diameter, his model is off.
Well, I think a little bit differently. I think what he's trying to do is because you've always heard that the sun is the perfect distance from the earth in order to make sure that we're not too hot and we're not too cold. It's a cosmic miracle. It's what they consider a cosmic miracle that Earth sits at the perfect distance. They said if the Earth was just 100,000 miles or 1,000,000 miles too close, we could not live here, or 1,000,000 miles too far, we couldn't live here. That it is perfect. So by that diagram, he's trying to show the size of it by the distance of it. Does that what your perception and how, because the sun is really, really tiny when you look at it through a special when you look at the sun through a special lens, it's actually very, very tiny. It's a lot smaller than what it looks like when you try to look at it with your eyes. So this diagram is just set up to show the distance and the perfect distance of how it is from Earth.
But listen,
by not showing it as gigantic, because when it's far away, it looks smaller, if that makes sense.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But in order for this demonstration to make sense, it has to be scaled to the model it's supposed to look like.
And I guess I see what you're saying for the casting of the light.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Because basically, you're manipulating your illustration.
Okay.
So let's try to get through this right quick.
It's always there no matter what.
Right.
So the moon occasionally passes through that shadow. And if you see the shape of Earth's shadow on the moon, it is always round. Always round. If Earth were flat, sometimes you get like a flat shadow.
Right.
And we've never seen a flat shadow.
Right. He
So
got
the
it
only
turned the
thing
wrong way.
that
So
makes
that's
a perfect circle shadow every single time is a perfect sphere, no matter what angle you shine. Whereas a disc, it would only make a perfect circle if you lined it that way.
Right.
And
So
then
you have to look at the face of the disc in order to get the circle.
the
I'm gonna move up, son.
a flat Earth with the sun that's small and close by, so that the light hits the second well at an angle. Or second, we could have a curved Earth with a sun that's big and far away, so that all the light comes in parallel, but only one well at a time is lit all the way to the bottom. Turns out with just 2 wells, there's enough wiggle room for both explanations to fit our observations. Eratosthenes only had 2 wells, but what if he had added a third?
Move up
With
a
it
bit.
translates to Earth measurement. So one last thing, which should be obvious.
Okay.
If you pay attention and think about it. If you send a ship straight to the horizon, eventually it begins to disappear until
believe
it's
that,
no
Sean?
longer visible beyond your horizon.
Right.
And you should ask yourself, what kind of surface would produce that result?
Ocean has a ramp. That's it. It's like a parking lot.
Seafarers knew this.
Right.
And so, however flat they would have,
Move
and
more, 'cause
don't
it's a
ever
long
stop.
video.
I just turn around my chair and face this way, and eventually you're going to come back.
Right. And you'll probably be about 150 years old. As I am no Forrest Gump. That is how long it would take me to run the Earth.
The fact that there's a
So we're gonna get through that.
Okay.
Nothing he said makes sense.
Actually, it does. It makes perfect sense.
It does not.
Now, what about it doesn't make sense?
If you ever go to the beach, first of all, a plane cannot fly around anything. Flies over a plane. Plane is flat. It's not round or anything like that. So that's where the airplane flies. It can only ascend, descend, left, right. It can do an oval, but guess what? That plane is not flying in its original design, and it cannot fly around a ball. It would crash. It can't do it. But then they say, well, the atmosphere moves too. Well, if that's the case, stand on top of your car and drive 100 miles an hour and then tell me what happened. So this is the problem I have.
You wouldn't move. You wouldn't move.
You wouldn't move, but you get blown. If you stand on top of your car and I drive 100 miles an hour, the wind will blow you. And think about this.
Yeah.
Do you know how violent it would be if this ball, this earth, was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? We couldn't level anything. Like you couldn't level, like I do epoxy. It would be impossible to level epoxy if we on something that's spinning. But then they use, well, it's because of gravity. Come on.
Yeah, it's because of gravity. Yeah.
Now.
All right. Well, okay. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been on one of those amusement park rides that spin really, really fast and pin you to the wall?
Yeah, and you about to throw up.
Yeah, that's because the only reason why you're throwing up is because you are actually experiencing the motion. Where we're not experiencing the motion on Earth because of the sheer mass of this Earth. We're not experiencing the motion. But when you condense it like one of those rides, you get the effect. You get the effect of that pinning you against the wall to where you are now fixed. You're pushed on that wall and you can't go any further.
Because that's real centrifugal force.
Yeah, that's right. And that is the same physics behind what the Earth is doing to us. The same physics. It's the same thing. It definitely is.
It's totally different.
Now the whole plane flying thing, I have no expertise in that whatsoever. I can't comment on it. I can't defute it. I can't debate that. I'm not sure about the whole plane thing.
Well, let's go to my video.
Okay.
And it's not as long as yours, but let's go to it.
Okay.
They're exactly the same size in the sky. Think about it. We're told the sun is 400 times larger than the moon, but also 400 times farther away, creating a perfect illusion where they look identical in size. But what are the odds of that? Is this just an incredible cosmic coincidence? Or is it evidence that we've been lied to about our world?
Hey, Sean, you still there?
Perfect eclipses.
Yeah.
Because your video
the only reason we can even have a total solar
my computer
eclipse
went to
is
sleep
because
for
the
some
sun
reason.
and moon appear the same size.
You go back.
Even more suspicious, the moon and sun follow nearly identical paths in the sky, staying in close alignment throughout the year. If they were really different sizes and distances, their movement should be completely different. Instead, they behave as if they are part of the same localized system. Let's break this down with real-world evidence. Perfect eclipses. The only reason we can even have a total solar eclipse is because the sun and moon appear the same size. If their proportions were even slightly off, eclipses wouldn't be possible. Personal observations. Watch the sun and moon rise and...
Now I'm going to pause it right there. As large as they say the sun is, when the moon get in front of it, it should be like a tic-tac. And it ain't about distance, is it?
Yeah, it's about distance.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right.
They move across the sky at similar...
Pause it right quick. It's the same thing if you're standing at a building and you put your thumb up. You put your thumb up like that, right? The building is going to be larger than your thumb. If you go back so many miles and then put your thumb up, your thumb can literally cover that entire building just by the distance that you are from that particular...
And that's because it's in front of your face. And it's perspective. Because
same thing with this. This is directly in front of the sun.
Listen, perspective,
during the eclipse.
Our eyesight is based off of perspective. But the distance between the sun and the moon is not based off of perspective because it's not about eyesight. It's about distance. Our eyesight goes down like this, right? The distance between the sun and the moon has nothing to do with our eyesight. It has nothing to do with perspective. And that's why people use that analogy, and that's not correct. Because that is based off of your perspective and your eyesight. The sun and the moon is not based off of eyesight. It's based off an actual size and an
Right.
actual distance. I'm going to finish playing this because we're going to
Okay.
get through
Okay.
this.
All right. All right.
Behave as if they are part of the same localized system. Let's break this down with real-world evidence. Perfect eclipses. The only reason we can even have a total solar eclipse is because the sun and moon appear the same size. If their proportions were even slightly off, eclipses wouldn't be possible. Personal observations: watch the sun and moon rise and set. They move across the sky at similar speeds and stay the same apparent size all day. That wouldn't happen if one were 400 times bigger and farther away than the other. If the sun were really 93 million miles away, it should shift positions dramatically when viewed from different parts of Earth, but it doesn't. Instead, it behaves as if it's much closer. And here's something strange. Why do we never see the dark side of the moon? It's supposedly rotating, yet we always see the same face. Could it be that the moon is actually something entirely different than what we've been told? Try this experiment yourself. Cover a street light with your thumb, then walk away. As you move back, your thumb no longer covers the light. That's perspective. Now ask yourself, if the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, how does the moon perfectly cover it during an eclipse? The math doesn't add up. The only logical explanation is that the sun and moon are much closer and smaller than we're told.
All right, so we back here. Let me fix it.
All right. So you subscribe to the fact that we're on a stationary plane that does not move, right? And that the Earth and the moon revolve around our stationary plane, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that this Earth, and the moon and the sun are within our
within the
our
firmament. Within the firmament.
They're inside the firmament.
Absolutely.
Okay. All
So here, let's go to scripture, right?
All right.
So you sent me a video. I couldn't put it up here because we didn't have enough time because we was running behind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Isaiah 40:22 says he sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, right?
Right.
So
Right.
let's stop there. A circle can only be drawn on a piece of paper.
Okay.
It's not an object. It's a drawing. Could we
Okay.
agree with that? Circle is
Yeah.
a drawing. It's not an object.
Yeah.
So you sent me the video that said the Hebrew word chud, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has been interpreted in some indications of a flat circle earth. However, others argue that it is talking about a spherish earth, a sphere.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? So the Bible says a circle earth. Now,
Mm-hmm.
a compass could not work on the ball because it is magnetic. And so if you were to be in a compass in your car and you left New York and you drove to Florida, that compass would malfunction because it can't go down. It always have to be on a flat plane. A compass can only work on a flat plane. It cannot work on a ball. If you got on a ball and took your compass and leaned over, your compass is not going to work correctly. It's going to lose its direction. Try it with a compass. It will lose its direction.
So where is north on a plane?
And
how
north?
Okay, well then how does the magnetic how is that a magnetic pole if there's no rotation whatsoever?
If
it's
star
a stationary...
Polaris. Polaris is a star that's in the center of the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's look at this. So the Bible says that God is a jealous God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what the Bible says?
Yes.
Do you believe that God would create anything he made and name it after another God? Do you believe that?
Of course not. Of course not.
So you agree that God would never name anything he created. And do we agree that he created the solar system? He created everything.
Right.
All right. So let's look at some Greek gods. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. All of those are Greek gods except Earth.
That's right.
Earth is the only non-Greek god named. That's a clue. That's a clue that somebody created that. Somebody did that to hide the true existence of a living God. A true existence. And so let's go to Job 26:10.
Okay.
He marks out the horizon on the face of the waters for a boundary between light and darkness. This passage describes the horizon, which some flat earth proponents argue support their view that the earth is flat. So why would he say that? Why would he use the word horizon? Why would he say that in that scripture?
Because
go ahead.
Because we have a horizon. Because our sun and our sun always rises and falls in our horizon. I mean, you've seen that. I mean, I know you've seen this.
You just said it. Our sun rises. I thought it don't move. You see what I'm saying?
No, but what I'm trying to say is we move. We move.
But that ain't what you just said. You said our sun.
It's perception. It's perception.
Okay.
When we see the sun fall beneath the horizon, it is moving in an it's moving in an elliptical. It's moving in an elliptical type by the rotation of the earth. So we're the ones that are moving, and when we're moving, it's showing that the earth is showing that the sun is moving. When actually the sun is not moving, we are moving. Just like if you were to get up and walk around, it's going to show. Okay, prime example: when you drive your car, when you drive your car and the moon is.
And listen, y'all, we want y'all to comment on this because we want to talk with y'all too. Sorry about this, y'all. I'm gonna let you go and finish.
Yeah.
We want to talk to y'all too. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we want to get some perspectives on this because this ain't an argument. This is just a discussion.
Because whenever you move, like I've noticed this, like when I go out, we used to work swing shift and I used to have to go to work at night. The moon, as I was driving, never seemed to be in the same place. It was in the same place, but it never was in the same place because I was moving, and it gave the perspective as if it was moving because I was moving. And it's the same thing with the earth moving. That gives the perception of the elliptical pattern of what the sun is doing, going around the earth. It looks like that. Well, but I do understand. I do understand the thought as if we're stationary and then that sun is moving. I do see that.
So if we go back to the Antarctic Treaty, right? If we go back to the United Nations map, do you know it is of the flat earth? The United Nations map. After 1958, this is where this globe stuff came up with Copernicus. Copernicus came up with the globe model. And everybody, if you take the globe off of a ball that is on, it will be a flat earth. It would show, if you peel the paper off and laid it out, it would
look flat.
It would be, it won't look flat. It will be actually the model of the flat earth because all they did was took it and put it around a ball. And that's why Antarctica, if the computer going to sleep again, that's why Antarctica appears to be at the bottom. So we're going to go to, I got one more scripture. You got any scripture, Sean?
Just that Isaiah 1. That is that Isaiah 1.
Okay. In Revelations 7:1, it says, after this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth. Now we know a ball don't have no corners. The Bible said that Satan took Jesus on a high mountain apart and showed him all the kingdoms. How is he going to see all the kingdoms around the ball? Listen, this conversation. How is he going to see all the kingdoms if he's here? How he going to see all the kingdoms, and how he's going to see the 4 corners of the earth? Because the ball don't have corners, but a circle does. All right. So he says
a circle does not have.
If you got a circle,
there's not a corner at all.
Well, if you had a circle, you can put a corner there. You can't put a corner on a ball.
You can put a corner on a globe, and those corners are north, east, south, and west.
So Jesus was able to see around the curve of the earth. That's what you're saying. Okay. Revelation.
He's God.
He wasn't God. He was God in the flesh, but he wasn't in the supernatural form that he could do that. Right?
Okay.
Because if he wouldn't have been hungry after 40 days. So after this, he said, I saw angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth. Some have interpreted to mention four corners, it is simply flat, rectangular Earth. However, this phrase is generally understood as metaphoric, right? People say it's metaphoric. That's what they say. So we want to go to the next video. Listen, y'all, we're having a great conversation about this. It's fun. We're not mad. We're not having no argument because we don't do that here on Mind Changes Podcast. We're just talking about our perspectives. Now, I believe there's some truth and some lies in everything.
Yeah.
I really do. So we're going to go to Sean's next video, which really scratching in my brain there. But we're going to see what you got here, Sean.
It's 2022, and there are still people all around the world that think that it's actually flat. And I mean, come on, guys, I thought we were past this. I mean, for one, we have photographs and videos of the spherical Earth from NASA, but since there is apparently a lot of people who think that NASA is just a bunch of liars, fine. Let's rapid fire off a bunch of reasons why we know for a fact that the Earth is not flat. Okay, so for one, like I mentioned, we have photographic evidence of the Earth being a sphere. The Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera Telescope, also known as the EPIC telescope, nice name, is 1.5 million kilometers away. And one of the things that it does is it takes a full single photo of the Earth every single day. Not a composite image, a whole single photo. And they're all aligned, by the way, and every single one of those shows the Earth as a sphere. Not to mention the countless photos and videos from astronauts on the ISS from all around the world showing the Earth's curvature. All right, so the next one is pretty easy. Even the flat earthers will say that other planets are spheres, even our moon, but the Earth is flat.
It's a long video.
It's the only one that's flat. Everything else is a spherical shape. I feel like the absurdity of that argument explains itself, but you know, let's just keep going for fun. So how about a classic one? Horizons. If you stood on the shore and watched ships sail away from you, eventually you would see the ship dip beneath the horizon. If the Earth was flat, you would see the entirety of the ship, no matter what distance, even if it was really far away and you had to use a tilt.
Okay. That. I'm gonna bust this wide open on my next video.
Okay.
I just want you to hold that in your head, right?
Okay.
People who live by Lake Michigan can do this experiment anytime, actually.
And we're gonna do
Lake Michigan. Look over Lake Michigan towards the skyline of Chicago, you can't see the entirety of those buildings. If the Earth was flat, you'd be able to see the bottom of those buildings. The next one is, you know, the stars. They change positions depending on where you are in the Earth.
Can I stop it right here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, do you agree that the stars are fixed? They don't move, right?
Right, they do not move.
They do not move.
The star, because God says He hung the stars in the sky. So
listen, what did He hang it on though? You're right.
I don't know.
The firmament.
I don't know.
They are inside the firmament, and if the Earth is spinning, Sean, then you would not be able to see the same star all the time. You can go at 8 o'clock at night when it get dark, and go out there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the stars are still in the same spot. How could that?
No, they're not. The stars, they change from east to west. They do change from east to west and whatnot. They do.
Well, see, now you're contradicting yourself.
It's not going to be in the same spot.
You said they don't move.
That, right there. That little dipper right there that you're looking at. If you're going to start in one horizon with it, and then by the end before sunrise, it's going to be in a different horizon.
It is never. It's never. And I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture at night at 8 o'clock when it's dark. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. It's gonna be clear, and then I'm gonna get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and stars gonna be in the same exact spot. But all right. And we'll prove that.
In the northern hemisphere of the planet, we can look up and we can see the Big Dipper constellation. But if you're in Australia, the Big Dipper is not only upside down, but so low in the night sky that it's barely visible above the horizon and only viewable for a few hours after sundown. The next one, the Coriolis effect on freely moving objects, like the classic experiment with the cannonballs or hurricane winds that are deflected to the right if you're north of the equator. But if you're south of the equator, they are deflected to the left. Oh, and we can't forget the biggest reason why we know that the Earth is a sphere. Math, rudimentary geometry to be exact. You know that kind where we here in the States learn in middle school, sometimes referred to as intermediate school, junior high school, or lower secondary school in other parts around the world. So if you pick two different points on the Earth and put a meter stick in the ground vertically and measure the shadow length at each point at the same time of day, you can use those values to determine the angle between those two sticks. And when you add in the distance between those two to the equation, you'll be able to calculate the curvature of the Earth. And not only that, you got triangles. If you walked along the Earth far enough and took 2 right angle turns, you would wind up back exactly where you started, something that even someone in a middle school geometry class would be able to tell you is impossible on a flat Earth. Oh, and let's not forget about eclipses. Every time you see a lunar eclipse, you see the shadow of the Earth casting over the moon, which we see as a crescent shape. The only thing that can make that shape is a circle. If the Earth was flat, we'd observe sort of a flat line going across the moon during an eclipse. But of course, flat earthers, they're gonna move that goalpost again. They'll say, well, the disk is oriented facing the sun, and that's how it gets that circular shape. Well, that would mean that we'd have to be facing the sun for the moon to have the flat Earth shadow cast over it in a circle. The moon would have to be behind or under the disk, making it so we wouldn't be able to see the moon in the first place because it would be, under us. All right, so the final one that I'll mention is a famous experiment by Eratosthenes way back in 240 BC, which most Greeks believed way back then that the Earth was round and not flat. But this experiment is saying that the sun is not only much smaller, but it's much closer to the Earth. Turns out that when you only use 2 wells for the experiment, it works for explaining both a small sun close to the Earth and a large sun far away from the Earth. However, within that experiment, there are 3 wells, and immediately the small sun close to the Earth explanation suddenly just doesn't work. And the only thing that works is a large sun very far away from the Earth. And listen, there are endless other reasons as to why we know that the Earth is a sphere and not flat. These are just a few. And in all honesty,
We're going straight to my video, bro. Because none of that made sense.
It all makes sense.
No,
it actually does.
It does not make any sense.
It definitely does.
The Bible says in Psalms 104, you agree with the Bible, right?
Yes.
He said he set the earth on its foundation so that it could never be moved.
Right.
That's what the word says now. Do you agree with what God just said?
I don't agree with the interpretation of what you're saying.
That's coming from... Pull out your Bible, go to the King James Version, Psalms 104:5. It says, he set the earth on its foundation so that it should never be moved. What interpretation? Never be moved.
Right.
It's fixed.
I don't believe that interpretation is saying that it's physically moving.
Okay.
My interpretation is that it will not waver, that the earth will never go anywhere. The earth is always going to be here. I believe that is what the interpretation is, not that it is not physically moving. Because we both know that we cannot destroy this earth. Man has always tried to say that we're going to make the end of the earth, we're going to make the end of the world. We cannot destroy this earth. We can't destroy anything God has made. Is what that interpretation to me is what that is.
Well, let me give you another interpretation. All right?
Okay.
1 Chronicles 16:30. It says, tremble before him, all the earth. Yes, the world is established. It should never be moved.
Same thing. It's the same. It's just verse mapping. It's nothing more than verse mapping. It's just tacking on to what that says. And you do believe that the Bible does tons, that the scriptures are all mapped together. And that's just more of the same, verse mapping.
Another one, Job 26:7. He stretches out the north over the void and hangs the earth on nothing. Right.
Hangs the earth on nothing. There we go. That interpretation is that the earth is just hanging here in nothing. It's hanging, it's suspending. It's right here. A globe can suspend. A flat earth could suspend as well, or a globe could suspend. That scripture is not explaining enough to even explain that this earth is flat nor round. And here's the thing. I truly believe that there is no concrete evidence in the Bible of the earth being flat nor round. There's none whatsoever. We as just inquisitive minds, we as scientists have just spent our life trying to decide whether the earth is flat or whether the earth is round.
So can that be said that people are wrong about it being round?
Here's the thing. You're right. We could be wrong with the earth is round, but it just, from the evidence that I see.
Use the word but.
I'll say and. And the evidence that I see supports more that the earth could be a sphere and less of the earth being a flat surface.
All right, let's go to my video because it's going to debunk your video.
thing. It's the Willis Tower right there. It's 1,451 feet tall, the tallest building in Chicago. And I'm zooming in on it from 53 miles away because I'm standing at the Warren Sand Dunes in Michigan.
Okay, stop right there. Now, based off of eyesight, it went over the curve, didn't it, Sean? Based off.
Play it again, because my computer keeps going to sleep. I got to figure out why it's going to sleep.
In Chicago, and I'm zooming in on it from.
Okay, let me go back.
The tallest building in Chicago, and I'm zooming in on it from 53 miles away.
Now, if he's 53 miles away, according to curvature, he should not see that building.
No. Curvature does not start taking effect until around 70 miles. Okay. Around 67 is the change.
I forgot the measurement. That's not what it says. It drops 8 feet every, I forgot what the calculation is.
Every 67 miles.
Here we go.
Every 67 miles.
Warren Sand Dunes in Michigan. But this isn't the typical, I'm going to show you something you shouldn't be able to see on a ball video. We're going to take a different approach, so follow along. Because I've done the video where you can see too far. I'm going to take a different approach, and I'm going to appeal to your common sense. And I'd like you to pay particular attention to the straightness of the Willis Tower and how it looks like it is pointing directly straight up. Because we all know they build buildings level and straight up to the ground they're on, just like they do here on that video across Lake Michigan, just like they do here on this other video across Lake Michigan from a different point in Michigan, and just like here from a much closer place.
Now, in your video before, it said that you can't see it across Lake Michigan. The video you just played earlier, it says you cannot see the Skyliner.
At a certain distance.
Well, no, it said from Michigan you can't see it. It didn't say from a certain distance. It says from Michigan in your last video. It says from Michigan you cannot see the skyline.
No. It says the skyline is lower. They didn't say you could not see it. That video said the skyline is less. You're just seeing the top portions of the building, like you're seeing right there.
Okay. He's seeing the whole building, by the way. It ain't just the top part. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Willis Tower, no matter where you are, always points directly straight into the air. Always points straight into the air. At different points, you are going to be able to see different amounts of the building. But I'm here to tell you that it is not because of the curve of the earth. Because if it were, you would always see the exact same amount of buildings when you were in the exact same spot. Both of these shots are from the exact same spot. At the Warren Sand Dunes, at the exact same ground level. And here,
how's he explaining that?
Much more of the building than you do here. Now let's look at why that is. Let's first break this down to a much smaller scale so it's easier to think about. And let's take this ball and the captain here. Now we see all of the captain here. But what happens if we move him behind the ball? If we move him behind the ball and we can't see all of him and then we look, well, for him to be straight up, he's not built level to the ground. If he were built level to the ground, we would see him.
Okay. Now that's on it. When they get the curvature.
No.
Sean.
When you get,
this is first of all, it's level. It's supposed to be level.
No.
Okay.
And I can explain that. I can absolutely, but I'll let you finish. But I can explain this. I can explain this.
And if there's enough curvature for part of the captain to be blocked, then there's enough curvature to notice an angle. Because the amount of curvature dictates the amount of the obscured object. Now let's take a look at what is actually happening here to block the buildings and block them in a way where on different days you see different amounts of building. The atmosphere creates a lensing effect. So a thicker atmosphere day would create a larger lensing effect. So just like the magnifying glass here is creating a lensing effect and you cannot see the boat that is behind.
Do you agree with the lensing effect?
I do agree with the lensing effect. I do.
Behind this lens, when you remove the lensing or the atmosphere, you see it's still there, and it's not just that it's gone behind a curve. There's also a matter of perspective. The further things are in distance, the lower they're going to seem in your field of vision. We know if we're standing next to these buildings, we would have to look straight up at them to see the top. But since they're further away, they appear shorter and smaller. And thirdly, in the case of the Willis Tower and Lake Michigan, there are also waves going across that 53 miles of lake. And yet, waves in the distance don't do much to obscure an object. If those waves are closer, they can block an entire building. Just like if my finger is far away from the camera, nothing, and blocks the entire screen. And again, to appeal to your common sense, you would have to think that the curvature of the Earth is changing rate from day to day to see different amounts of building from the exact same place. You would also have to think that even though we are told that we can't see the entirety of this building because it is around the curve of the Earth, that they somehow build buildings like this instead of like this, always level. So next time you see objects in the distance that are partially blocked by what you think is the curvature of the Earth, ask yourself, is something else going on here? Could atmosphere play an effect? Could perspective play a role? Or if you're looking over water, could even waves in the foreground be having?
Go ahead on that, Sean.
Okay, well, there's two. All right, the one thing that he didn't account for is high tide. High tide is the swelling of that body of water, and the Great Lakes are large enough to be affected by high tide.
Well, he talked about waves. That could be a part of high tide.
No. Waves are waves and tides are two different things. Waves are moved by wind. Tide is moved. Tide is moved by we could have had a video like that, but it is they've said that the Earth is somewhat of an oval. It's not a perfect sphere. It's somewhat of an oval, and
So
as it is
like
rotating, well, not completely shaped like an egg, but enough to be when the Earth is rotating, there's a bulge. The water bulges, and that is what high tide is when that body of water bulges upward, and it looks like you got more water than you actually do. All you do is you're just bulging that water. And where one place is having a high tide, the opposite place is having a low tide. So if you're having a bulge and you're causing the water to rise up, you're causing that another area to lose water. And then when the bulge is reversed in the opposite direction, when the Earth is rotating, that bulge drops, and then the bulge is on the other side. So that's how you get high tide. You can't get a high tide or a low tide on a flat Earth. The water would always remain constant. It would not move. And we absolutely have hundreds of proof of where the tide rises and the tide falls. And the only way that we can have that happen is by the Earth rotating and causing that bulge with the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon. Now, that high tide depends on where the high tide is. When you're looking across that horizon will dictate how much of that horizon you see. Now, the second part where he was talking about the putting the building on the side and it's sticking outward, that was an obscure example because he was putting an object on a smaller sphere to where it's going to be exagerated. That situation, it's going to be exaggerated.
But here's the thing.
Very exaggerated.
According to this model, everything has to be leveled. And if that is true,
it only has to be level in the foundation that it is put in. It only has to be level in the foundation.
But here's the thing.
And every part of this Earth can be made level within that foundation of where they put that structure at. And it is gravity that gives us the perception that we are up and down. So level is a moot point because you can always create a level space, always, that we're walking around on. You always can.
If this was
no matter how,
if this was a real Earth, if this was a real Earth,
it's always going to be level.
If this was a real Earth and it's round, right? And you could look at everything and shrink it to the point where you can see it, everything is going to be at that. Everything is going to be at that perspective. It's going to be there. It's anybody right here is out according to this globe model. I don't care how you look at it. If you up here and you look down, they are out that way. because this is what they say the Earth is like.
Right.
So I got.
Now, one more thing. The way you were moving that object around the globe and making it look like it's out of sight, it's all about distance. The Earth is so large, it's all about distance. And that distance is going to make you not think that you are standing in that particular way.
And I hear what you're saying, but no matter what you say, if this is the model, everything is going. If you're right here at the equator, which we know they say it's tilted like this, but if you're here at the equator, you are out. You are straight out. I don't care how. It's not going to be like this. It is going to be.
But what's your issue with that? What is your issue?
My issue is that I don't agree with this, and that doesn't make sense.
What I'm saying is, why doesn't it make sense that you're out? Because anybody that's close to you is going to be out too. So now your perspective is that line of sight. But anybody on top can no longer.
Well, that's not going to be line of sight. That's going to be actual. You're actually going to, if you're on the side of the Earth, you're actually going to be out. It's not about sight. It's actual according to this model.
But why is that impossible? Is what I'm trying to ask. Explain why that's impossible.
What's impossible?
Why is that impossible?
It's for this thing to be spinning at the speed it's spinning.
Right.
And water behaves as if nothing is happening. Meaning that they telling us that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Do you know if something was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, you couldn't land back in the same spot?
Yes, you could.
According to your gravity.
Right? All right. They explain that phenomenon by this. Next time you drive, get up to 60, 70 miles an hour, right? And I want you to throw your wallet up and watch it come right back down in your hand.
Because you're traveling inside a car. Because we're not inside the Earth. We're on top of the Earth. We're not inside the Earth.
It's the same phenomenon. It's the mass. It's the mass that you're traveling in. It's that mass that you're traveling in. So you throw your wallet up, it should be in the back seat by that logic. Your wallet should fly into the back seat, but it will literally come right back down in your hand.
You're on something that's You're on.
There you go.
In
go ahead,
something.
go ahead,
listen, no, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there.
You're saying it.
Listen. You're in a car. I'm not in a Earth. I'm standing on top of the Earth. So if I put you on top of the car, if I put you on top of the car and tell you to throw your wallet up, it's not gonna be there. We're not inside of the Earth. We're on top of the Earth. No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
We're on top.
We are.
Sean,
okay.
We're not.
All right. Here's the thing.
Listen. We're not inside of an Earth. We're on top of the Earth.
I'm going to bust your head open right now. I'm going to bust your head open right now.
Go ahead.
I'm going to bust your head open right now.
Go ahead.
There absolutely is a firmament. Our globe is covered by a globe. We're spinning 1,000 miles an hour, but we are not experiencing that turbulence. The same way we're not experiencing that turbulence inside of our vehicle because we're surrounded by glass. We're surrounded by glass. The same glass that you say that the Earth has. That's why when we throw a ball up in the air, traveling 1,000 miles an hour, that ball comes right back down in our hand.
But Sean, the firmament don't exist on the globe. The firmament don't exist for a globe because it's no. It can't. It cannot. It cannot.
It can.
It
yes,
cannot.
it can.
It
yes,
cannot.
It can.
It can't.
You have
a firmament is not going around the Earth. That is. It's not going around a ball. It is.
Why not?
It's not. We're going to show you on the next
video.
What
scientific evidence shows you that?
I'm going to show you on the next video.
All right. Or what biblical evidence shows you that?
Okay. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at a flight plan. All right.
Okay.
This is the flat Earth. Right.
Okay. All right.
And he's going to compare it to the globe theory as far as how planes travel. Because I used to say, well, why do they go here? And according to the map, that don't make sense. So he's going to break that down.
Okay.
Take a look, because right now we're about to look at flight paths and why they make no sense on the globe. Auckland to Lima, Peru, stops in Los Angeles. Why? Makes sense on a flat Earth. Buenos Aires to...
Did you understand what he just said, right?
I can barely hear it.
You can barely hear it? Okay, let me turn it up.
I can barely hear it.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Something happened. I got you. Let me take it back.
And we're also we've hit our hour. We've hit our hour.
Okay. Yeah, we're going.
Yeah.
We won't be much longer.
Attack Hawaii on a flat Earth. Well, simple. There's your map. Take a look, because right now we're about to look at flight paths and why they make no sense on the globe.
So this is the globe one on the left.
Auckland to Lima, Peru, stops in Los Angeles. Why? Makes sense on a flat Earth. Buenos Aires to New Delhi, stops in Amsterdam. Makes no sense on a globe.
All right, I'm gonna stop. Why would they go way here when they can just go straight across through the question mark to where they were going? Right?
Okay.
Doesn't make sense, okay?
Perfect sense on a flat Earth. Here we have Sydney to Lima, Peru.
Okay, now this is the craziest pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they go from here to Peru and then come back down when they could have just went straight across, save all that fuel?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they do that when they are trying to get to that first destination? So look at the flat Earth model and look at the round Earth model. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Los Angeles, on a globe, it makes 0 sense. But on a flat Earth, it looks like it makes sense. Let's take a look at Wellington to Lima, which stops in Los Angeles. Again, makes 0 sense.
And this is the worst example right here of a flight pattern.
Okay.
On a globe, but perfect sense on a flat Earth. Now let's look at Wellington to Mexico City, which stops in Los Angeles. On a flat Earth, it makes a lot of sense. Look at that. You got Wellington to Los Angeles, and then you go to Mexico City. Perfect sense. Now on the globe model, we have what looks like the most ridiculous. What's happening? Why would this ever happen? That would not be a flight path. It makes no sense. But again, this is all my opinion. I recommend everyone does their own.
That makes no sense.
Okay. Well, I've done that research the best I could. I mean, I am no expert or not, but for me, there was 3 different things that you had to factor in that you could not factor in of a real-time flight patterns of planning flight patterns. And the 3 things that I could not account for with that whole ordeal, and the 3 things were: first is flight space. Some flight spaces we just can't fly in, whether it's we're having problems with another government and we're not allowed there, or because militaries are going to do what they want to, but civilian airlines have to abide by flight space, and flight space will make us have to fly weird sometimes. Sometimes we got to go. Sometimes we got to go out of our way to get somewhere.
I looked at that with this example, and none of those flights went through enemy airspace where the question marks was at. There were no enemy airspace there at all. And I'm not a professional at it as well.
Yeah. Second thing I could not account for is just the deluge of what I call canceled flights, delayed flights, things of that nature. And when you've got thousands and thousands of planes out there in flight space, sometimes you've got to divert things in certain locations because you've got planes. You've either got government planes that they have to account for, whether it's the president flying or whether it's military flying, things like that we have to account for. Whether you've got weird weather taking place and it causes everybody to have to divert, and then somebody's going to have to land because they don't quite have enough fuel because they've got to divert to another place, so it's causing them to land somewhere that they wouldn't normally land so they can get that fuel so they can get back into flight and go. There's just, when it comes to flying, it is a very fluid situation, and there's a lot of weird flight paths when you're talking about weather phenomenons. You're talking about military phenomenons. Just here recently, you're talking about Elon Musk and his satellites blowing up. They had to ground everybody or divert everybody and go this direction, go that direction. I just think we as civilians don't know enough about what's taking place in the atmosphere that's causing some of these flight patterns that do seem to be a little weird and questionable. And I don't have enough information to add to that to say that those flight plans are not right. They may be right. They may be, or they may be wrong.
Those are U.S. air flight plans, and they are the same every day.
No, they're not. They're not the same every day.
When I say flight plans, I'm talking about to those destinations. To those destinations, I pulled up a whole week worth. Now, I only pulled up a week worth. I ain't pulled up more than a week worth.
Okay.
I pulled up a week worth of it because I wanted to make sure when I put this video up here that he was accurate, and they are the same every time. So I ain't go back more than a week. I didn't go back.
So what you're telling me, I want to make sure I understand you. So what you're telling me, those are perfect scenario flight pans.
Yes.
Perfect scenario. Perfect scenario.
I'm not gonna say perfect, but for it to be a whole week, and they traveled there 3 to 4 times a day, and they still going on the same route. For me, that was consistent.
Yeah.
But it's only a week consistent. It ain't. I didn't go back a month because I didn't have enough time. I only went a week.
I got you.
And I looked at it, and those same flights going to Sydney, going to all those places, was doing the same thing. And it was like 3 flights per day, and they all took the same direction. That's why I put that video up there. Because for me, it was like, okay, this is more proof of what he's saying. This is more proof of what he's saying.
Also, too, now I will say this, too. There's another phenomenon that we're not spoke about when it comes to flying, and somebody can help me with this. I may be totally off. Flight crews have to move around. They've got to move flight crews around, and sometimes they go out their way to get flight crews so they can move flight crews to other areas. So sometimes those flight plans are actually planned to get flight crews, get your stewardess and whatnot, and get them moved to another location.
They do that.
So that could factor in some of these weird flights. It could. It very well could. It very well could.
Yeah, I got one more here before we get out of here because we got to get off.
All right.
Proof that our Earth is motionless. How is it even remotely possible to ascend for 2 hours and 35 minutes, 128,000 feet in the air, free fall for 4 minutes, land only 40 kilometers away from where he started from? The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. If the Earth was in motion at all, shouldn't he have landed hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from where he started? Like, imagine seeing this and thinking that the Earth spins at 1,000 miles per hour. I want to show you guys something pretty funny here. This is the truth in plain sight. NASA.gov, derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model. A linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth is derived and defined. NASA.gov. In fact,
now I pulled it up. You can pull it up. It's going to say the same thing. Let me go back here.
Aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth is derived and defined. NASA.gov. In fact, there are over 15 documents on NASA's own website that say a non-rotating flat Earth. Non-rotating Earth. A flat, non-rotating Earth. The truth is always in plain sight. NASA's only job has been to deceive and hide God's true creation from you. Now look, if you are a truth seeker who sees beyond all these illusions, and you wish to connect with other truth seekers and crack the codes to this reality, and I've created something very special for you, an exclusive community committed to uncovering the truth of this reality and mastering the art of manifestation and creating whatever reality we desire. So click the link in my bio and I will...
Yeah, he lost all credibility. He lost all credibility with me when he finished up with that one there.
Yeah, he was capping on that. But if you go pull that website up, it says that. Go pull up NASA.gov. It's going to basically tell you it's a non-rotating flat Earth. I didn't write it, they did. But pull it up because I pulled it up as well. And everything that you showed, that's what they are saying. It's a non-rotating flat Earth. They're saying the same people who say they're going to space. But man, this was...
I'll check that out. I'll check that out.
This was an entertaining podcast. Me and Sean just sharing perspectives. But listen, y'all, by not any means, we are on the same page. We just don't agree with everything.
Yeah.
We just don't agree with everything. And it doesn't mean somebody wrong, somebody right. No, it's just our perspective. And this is why having healthy conversation about something we don't agree with is a lesson for everybody to say, just because you believe this and I believe that, we can't have a healthy conversation. Sean got a lot of good points. I got my points in there. Hey, no matter what you believe, listen, you got to keep God and Christ first in your life. Listen, we went over. But I had fun, Sean.
I did too. I did too.
Now, we have disagreed more than we've ever disagreed today.
I know, right?
We had our first podcast marital argument.
Exactly.
But it was an argument. Exactly. It was just that we didn't agree.
Absolutely.
Man, so what you got for this week, Sean?
What's that?
That's what you got going on for this week, man.
I'm gonna be celebrating my birthday. I'll be turning 52 next Tuesday. We're gonna celebrate this weekend.
Now check this out, y'all. Him and his wife are born on the same day in the same year.
Got the same birthday.
It's like hitting the lottery. The odds of that is crazy.
I know, right?
But Sean, I enjoyed you today, man. I enjoyed your perspective. You gave me some things to think about. I hope I gave you some things to think about.
Definitely. You did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. You did.
So listen, no matter what y'all think or who y'all believe we represent, y'all please keep God and Christ first in your life. Mind Changers Podcast.
We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all, we bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all, we bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told